Joining me here in the studio is Dr. Alan Keyes with a comment on the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt and Benghazi. Anything you want to say about Hillary Clinton?
Well, see, the one great problem that I see in all of this is that people like Hillary promoted this Arab Spring understanding, pretended that somehow or another our understanding and values were going to be promoted as a result. They knew all along that, in point of fact, the major component in all of this were folks who were the Muslim Brotherhood, who adhered to an understanding of Islam that is diametrically opposed to all of the assumptions that are at the heart of our understanding of rights and justice. But they perpetrated what was essentially a lie. The whole policy was a lie, perpetrated against the American people to get them to tolerate what the Obama regime was doing. Now the chickens have come home to roost. And the end result is we've seen the collapse of this policy everywhere. It promoted the forces of fundamentalist, terrorist, jihadist Islam to such a degree that the people in Egypt en masse vomited them up, drove them out. And to this day, Obama will not stand with them. He treats them the way he treated the pro-democracy forces in Iran. Didn't want to say a word about them when they were being repressed by the Iranian regime. And yet he's perfectly willing to have us accept the idea that the lives of our diplomats and intelligence operatives, that the lives of our troops, all should be expended so that we can promote the strength, power, and ultimate victory of forces dominated by the Muslim Brotherhood, dominated by Al-Qaeda, directly responsible for the assault on the United States, and that this somehow is going to serve the interest of our country. I think it's time we woke up and realized, as I've been trying to get people to see for years, Obama can only be understood, his policies, his foreign policy can only be understood when you shift perspective. If you insist on trying to understand this man as if he is somehow committed to our interests in serving America, then it all looks like incompetence, folly, stupidity, and madness. If, on the other hand, you assume that he's actually committed to the lifelong ideology that he professed before he got into office, the ideology that comes from Marx and Lenin, the ideology that promoted a lot of these terrorist elements in the Islamic world against Israel, against the United States, on account of their ideological motivation and their ideological usefulness in overthrowing the bastions of free enterprise and capitalism. If you make that assumption, what do you conclude? That this is a purposeful, conscious effort to weaken and destroy our military strength, to abuse and weaken our stance of deterrence in the world, to abuse and weaken our reputation, particularly with our friends and allies who now will not know whether or not they can depend on us, and to encourage assertive action by those, the Chinese, the Iranians, the Russians, who are our enemies, with the end result of destroying us. Because I think that's what Obama's about. And I think folks who haven't accepted that as the reality yet need to wake up, because this is foolish, not to look at the evidence that's right in front of you and reach the right conclusion. Final point. Is there some hopeful way of dealing with this? Sure. We need to take Obama and all of the people like Hillary Clinton and others who have served and been with him, and we need to boot them out of office. How do we do that, Alan? The election's not till 2016. He could destroy this country by that time. Well, we have an election in 2014, and the Constitution makes it very clear if a majority of the House impeaches them, and if 2/3 of the Senate vote to kick them out, they will be gone. 1/3 of the Senate is up in 2014, and the whole House is up, and that means we have more than enough opportunity to get an impeachment and removal Congress if we will rally round that purpose in order to bring the terrible threat that is posed by this Obama faction and its policies to an end. And in order also to send a clear message to all of the elitist elements who think they can now overthrow our Constitution, that the American people will not stand for it.